9 years ago now and been in the market almost ever since. Danish SaaS tech company out of Copenhagen, Denmark.
Amazing. Other specific metrics that improved as a result of working with willingness to pay, maybe ACV, increase in like onboarding fee. Can you tell me any of those things?
Like ACV, definitely. I don't know. I think we ended up increasing prices and we worked together with what's that? 3, 4, no, what we went from 4 and then we made an initial bump. So that's a large percent to like 4 to 100. And then we also went from 100 to 400.
Wow.
So I guess what's that, 1,000% increase in price over time. So ACV drastically changed.
Yeah, so if you could just give me a quick overview, again, your name, your role, and the company that you're at right now.
My name is Viktor Heide. I'm the COO and one of 2 co-founders. We co-founded Contractbook 9 years ago now and been in the market almost ever since. Danish SaaS tech company out of Copenhagen, Denmark.
Amazing. Can you tell me about the pain points or opportunities that led you all to an interest in working with willingness to pay?
I think there were multiple, but I think when I thought about this question, I think we didn't know how to charge. I think if I want to put it in the simplest way, and then following, we didn't understand how much we could charge, but I guess predominantly we didn't know how to charge.
Yeah, and what were you running into with not knowing how to charge, not knowing how much to charge? Like, what were the pain points internally?
I guess not enough growth, I guess, was sort of one of the obstacles, or predominantly with like both new sales and retention numbers not being optimized to the extent we had a feeling that they could. There must be more potential in the market for this. So I guess we saw opportunity, and then without we tested a lot ourselves, but I guess had limited knowledge and experience in building SaaS models. So essentially I guess this answers a little bit of the later questions, but essentially working with the team accelerated time to market on the thought how we could do to actually charging 10, 20x more.
That's great. I'm curious, how did you find out about willingness to pay? Did you kind of test drive maybe other solutions to solve this problem before working with them?
Like specifically to how we were referred by our venture fund by founders. Very specifically, that was the introduction. And yes, I talked to Bain initially, too, in the same sort of realm of intros, and I didn't specifically test with anybody else.
So in those other conversations you had, why did you end up deciding to work with willingness to pay versus maybe someone else in the space?
I guess to a large extent the connection with Ulrik has to be mentioned. I sort of bought into Ulrik's the human being Ulrik, and his sort of institutional knowledge on B2B SaaS. And then I guess one other thing was like that be especially Bain, but also other that be external, or sort of when searching, the understanding of how much of early SaaS pricing is whiteboard based and not full-fledged data based. The understanding of our stage, essentially, I guess.
That's great. So you get connected with them. Help me understand, how quickly did you start working with them, and when did you start seeing value from working with them?
What we had, I would think there was about maybe 2 to 3 weeks from first initial meeting to we set up the first workshop. So we did sort of I'm not saying a pilot, but we did a 1-day workshop to begin with. That was planned relatively fast, and I think from that workshop, and then I was the one driving it with the connection to willingness to pay. I had the first things implemented the week after, and then commercial results would then take like renewal period, like initial new sales would change. We did a migration of old users to the new plan we designed. That took a while to roll, but I guess you could argument for pretty immediate results, and then significant results during the first. What did we do the migration in like 3 to 6 months? So the like significant results on doubling the ARR and the base in the first 3 to 6 months.
Doubling ARR in the first 3 to 6 months. Is that what you said?
Yes. Like in relative scale, we had lower ARR at the time, so it's not, we didn't go 4 to 8, but still yes.
That's great. I'm curious, are there other specific metrics that improved as a result of working with willingness to pay, maybe ACV, increase in like onboarding fee? Can you tell me any of those things?
Like ACV, definitely. I don't know. I think we ended up increasing prices and we worked together with what's that? 3, 4, no, what we went from 4 and then we made an initial bump. So that's a large percent to like 4 to 100. And then we also went from 100 to 400.
Wow.
So I guess what's that, 1,000% increase in price over time. So ACV drastically changed, I guess, due to the way we then ended up building sort of, what's that called? Like migration cycles for when we did price changes ongoingly afterwards. We ended up quite drastically increasing NDR or NRR for a period of time. That said, at some point we sort of tapped out on the amount of rollover on price we could do, so it wasn't, NDR didn't indefinitely go up, but for a long period of time we saw 150% NDR because we could sort of migrate users onto higher price points.
That's great. Any other metrics that really stand out to you?
No, I guess those are the primary. I don't think it necessarily impacted win rates and such. No.
That's great.
We closed the right customers, but that's not a metric.
Totally. It's helpful though. It's good to know. Great. I'm curious about, obviously this is a massive overhaul internally. Can you talk to me about implementing these new pricing strategies and maybe what that was like for your team, and how did the willingness to pay team support you throughout that?
Yeah. So I was the connecting link between Ulrik at the time and the team. So I think the 2 first instances we did something together. We did sort of 2 large roles, and then Ulrik became a permanent advisor for a longer period of time. In the first 2 initial sort of roles, we like prep, workshop, me alone in a room for 3 days, documenting and making an implementation plan and how to do it and what we did specifically in that. So prep and workshop, Ulrik and the team very much involved in shaping and running the workshop. In the rollout, or in sort of the initial sort of building up how we did it, Ulrik was my sounding board on, hey, on call, I would then do this and this and this and this tempo. Does that make sense? So sort of sparring partner in building the internal plan. And then rollout was then predominantly on me and team, and then mixed between, I guess, sales, marketing, and product predominantly. In that be how we sell, how we roll out and migrate, and what needs to be built. Mm-hmm. They were less involved in the internal mix. I took that. I think we did by month, like what's that? Every second month we did a check-in, and okay, how is it? How does it look? Where are we? Everything rolling out as possible? Do we see any roadblocks? And then I continued in turn.
Yeah, so it sounds like there was ongoing support. That's helpful.
Yes.
You've alluded to some of this already, but I'm curious, if you had to distill the key benefits of working with willingness to pay, what would those be?
Never-ending source of, I guess the internet provides that too, of pricing knowledge, but the fact that it's tailored and understand your situation is relatively unique. Understanding the mechanics of B2B SaaS. So it's easy to give price advice, but it's actually pretty difficult to tailor it to who we are, what we do, who we sell to. I think those are sort of and that's actually maybe the most important.
Yeah. Are you guys still working actively with willingness to pay, or how do you see the work that they've done kind of fitting into your growth plans for the next year?
So mind, we worked with Ulrik and the team, I guess 6-7 years ago, and then we worked with them for 3-4 years actively, I believe. And then we've taken, so one of the goals was to in-house it. So essentially we built it to me, and then I've been able to take it, and then I have a sort of a relation to Ulrik today, but we don't actively work with willingness to pay today. We used 3-4 years on building, was always the goal, on in-housing it at the end.
Yep, makes sense. Do you have any actionable advice for other companies that might be experiencing the issues that you all were prior to working with willingness to pay?
Increase price, charge more. Yeah, I guess to some extent some of this is so important to seek advice, and then when in the collaborationship, lean into it. Like they're not gonna like. Yes, they did a fantastic job, but it's a two-way street. It wouldn't happen if our team wasn't willing to take it in.
Yeah, prioritize it internally.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Is there anything else that you think would be helpful for us to know? Anything I maybe didn't ask that you'd like to speak to?
Well, I guess it comes out pretty clear of this that I would recommend to work with them